Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, today we got another weapon comparison for you guys, and this was another pretty popular request as of late. And the particular weapon we'll be comparing today will be the beam rifle, which is a pretty cool weapon actually in my opinion. I actually prefer it over the sniper rifle personally, but the beam rifle was first introduced in Halo 2 as basically the Covenant version of the sniper rifle. Actually, it's literally the Covenant version of the sniper rifle, and its function is exactly that. So, it only appears in a few games though. Unfortunately, it's not as ubiquitous as the regular UNSC sniper rifle. So, the only games we'll be comparing today for the beam rifle will be Halo 2, 3, and 4. The only games that it appears in that we can compare. Now, I know people will probably still ask about Halo 5 and even Halo 2 Anniversary, but as always, we cannot compare those because, well, no mod tools exist yet that we can use to get the stats for those games. So that's why we're only comparing the more classic games, including Halo 4. So, anyways, let's get right into it. Starting with Halo 2, obviously. The first iteration of the beam rifle that we'll be using for our baseline. So let's take a look at the stats of Halo 2's beam rifle. So, Halo 2's beam rifle has a max range of 120 world units. I usually say meters, but it may not actually be accurate in meters. The accurate term is world units. And likewise, its velocity is 1200 world units a second. It does 45 points of damage, and it takes about 0.25 seconds between shots, so you keep firing. And each shot you fire generates about 0.65 points of heat. And each shot you fire depletes your total charge by 0.05. Basically 5% of your total, 5.5% of your total ammo count. So, you know, it's not a bad weapon in Halo 2. It was actually kind of cool to use. But basically, the heat per round means if you spam it, you'll probably get about 3 shots off before it overheats. And yeah, it'll drain at a percentage rate of 5.5% for each shot. So it's not bad. So the next game, that was our baseline. The next game that a beam rifle appears in is Halo 3. Now, by now you probably noticed the trend, and I've pointed it out many times, but a lot of Halo 3 weapons, aesthetically speaking, are more of like upgraded Halo 2 weapons, visual-wise. So, not much has really changed about the Halo 2 beam rifle, other than, it's a little sleeker and shinier, but for the most part, it's still recognizable, like the Halo 2 beam rifle. But what about the stats? Well, for once, Halo 3 actually upgraded the weapon a lot. In the past, usually Halo 3 weapons are pretty close to Halo 2 weapons, sometimes even weaker. But this time, Halo 3's beam rifle significantly upgrades the max range from 120 to 500. The velocity remains the same though, it's still 1200 world units a second. But damage is also significantly increased from 45 to 80. So far it's a lot more powerful and a lot more better range. But the time between shots has now increased by a little bit, from 0.25 up to 0.4. So you won't be able to spam your shots as quickly as you could in Halo 2. And of course it also generates slightly more heat per round, 0.7. But overall you won't really notice that much difference. And as for the energy depleted per round, well, on multiplayer, it depletes at about 10% each shot, but in single player, it's actually less than Halo 2 at 5% per shot, rather than the 5.5% in Halo 2. So, depending on which version you want to compare, I mean, the Halo 3 beam rifle, it could be a little better than Halo 2's. Now, the last game we can compare is Halo 4. Officially, lore-wise, it's actually a new model of the beam rifle. It's not the same model that we see in Halo 2 and 3, but it's still called a beam rifle, so obviously we'll compare it. But this new model has a lot of visual changes to it. But aside from visual changes, its stats have also changed quite a bit. Its max range is the same as Halo 3's, so it's still better than Halo 2 in that regard. However, its velocity has been increased by a lot again. To a whopping 2,799 world units per second. I don't know why to use such a specific number. I want just 2,800. But yeah, so it's significantly increased from Halo 3 and 2, which were 1,200 world units a second. The damage is the same though as Halo 3, 80. which is still higher than Halo 2's. And the time between shots is still the same as Halo 3's, 0.4 seconds. However, its heat per shot has been brought back down to 0.65, like in Halo 2. So it's consistent there. And the energy depleted per round is consistent with Halo 3's multiplayer beam rifle, which is the only version in Halo 4. So that's how it is. Alright, so we've compared all 3 beam rifles that we can compare. Which one is the best? Well, I'm going to have to give that to Halo 4. Yes, it seems to be like a trend that for a lot of precision weapons, Halo 4 tends to be the best. Aside from the sniper rifle, where ODST had was like a sleeper hit, I guess. But yeah, so Halo 4's beam rifle is the best out of all 3. It may not have as high of a rate of fire as Halo 2's, but its range, its velocity, and its damage are all greater than Halo 2's. The ammo will drain faster because the energy used per round is almost twice that of Halo 2's. But aside from that, you know, damage-wise and accuracy-wise, the Halo 4 beam rifle is the best. Halo 3's beam rifle is pretty close, but the velocity and the less heat per round makes Halo 4's better than Halo 3's. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Halo 4 has the best beam rifle of the series that we can compare. So hopefully you guys did find this to be interesting, and if you did, as always, make sure to leave a like. You know, definitely like to hear your thoughts about this in the comments, and of course, if there's anything else we need to compare, be it weapons or AIs or other stuff, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to get around to it when I get the chance. But other than that, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.